It's your boy Blueland Erris, and before we get into the second ever episode of the Live from Blueland podcast, we gotta talk about a week from today, March 2nd, a date I can promise you will be a historic date in Atlanta hockey history. Live from Gas South Arena, the Atlanta Gladiators of the ECHL will take on the Greenville Swamp Rabbits, but not as the Glads you're used to, as the reincarnation of the Atlanta Thrashers, for one night only on Thrashers Night. The team will be in full Thrashers attire, and it'll be a night of full game theming and presentation. This is the rebirth of Blueland. Tickets are about to disappear as this building will be sold out. So I'm hooking you up with Erris' Blueland Pass. Me and the Gladiators, by way of Feeble Enterprise, have partnered to make sure that you get a great deal to come be a part of a movement to show that this is a hockey city in regards to the future. For just $25, you can get a seat in any one of my sections to make sure you're in attendance. You do not want to miss this, and y'all know I don't exaggerate. Some people have the nerve to lie on this city and say that this is not a hockey market, that there's no passionate fans of the game down here. If you love hockey like I do, you better be in the building next week, along with all of Blueland, when we shut everybody's mouth and kick the door down for the future. Hit the link down in the description if you're watching this on YouTube, or in the bio of my Instagram or TikTok to make sure you get those tickets quick and easy. I got you covered, and I'm going to see you next Saturday at 7 p.m. The fact that this podcast actually made it to its second ever episode is a very belated Christmas miracle, honestly. So we're still in the humble beginning stages of this podcast, but how formal of an intro do y'all want? Welcome back to what is now the second ever episode 2 of the Live from Blueland podcast with your boy, Blueland Erris. We're getting back into it. We got a couple topics to talk about this week. I don't want my blood to boil, but there's a couple things that I have to address, a couple people that I have to address, and it's a very pivotal moment in my life. It's a very pivotal moment in when it comes to Atlanta hockey and hockey as abroad, hockey as a whole, I guess I should say. Like I told y'all, WWE calls it the road to WrestleMania, but for us as hockey fans, it's the road to the Stanley Cup. And we got a number of topics to talk about because hockey was heated this last week, and I always tell you, the league keeps on moving. We got a lot of things to talk about. We got a goal of the week candidate that happened this week. We got a lot of high-scoring games that resembled NBA scores this week. We've got Austin Matthews doing Austin Matthews things. We got the jersey retirement of a legend. And then I got a couple other topics that I got to talk about that just must be touched on. So welcome back to the Live from Blueland podcast. Now, one thing that I will do, and this is very candid, I'm going to go ahead and put a timer on because last week y'all got a little treat for the inaugural episode of the Live from Blueland podcast. Y'all will not get that again. Not that y'all won't get that again. I will do hour-long episodes in the future, but as of right now, they are going to stick at 25 to 30 minutes. I think this one will get to 30. It's probably more realistic that they get to 30. I have a lot to say. But 25 to 30 minutes is like the range I'm going for. Maybe even 20, but 25 to 30 minutes. Y'all will not be getting another hour-long episode for a minute. At least for right now that I have in my mind, y'all will not be getting that. So where my timer at? I'm gonna just set it to 30 minutes, and then whatever it's at is whenever I stop. So, but I got a number of topics that I want to talk about. Thanks for tuning in today. If you follow me on Instagram, what's up? I'm glad you came over. If you mess with me on YouTube, that's shocking. I'm not on there often. I will pay more attention to YouTube and go harder with that. I've got to diversify my platforms. Mama Blueland, my mother. Shout out mom if she's watching this podcast or listening to it. She told me you got to be on all these platforms, and she's right. So I'm getting back into it, but on TikTok, shout out to y'all for 2K. We over 2,000 strong now. And just keep doing what y'all doing because I'm 20% to the TikTok creator fund and can quit my job after that. I won't. I'm joking. I'm not going to quit my job. If anything, I'm going to calm down the money, buddy. But shout out to y'all over on TikTok for getting me to over 2,000 followers and just everybody who I interact with on there, man. I've reached an audience of over 200,000 people at this point just engaging with my content. So who knows where this is going to go. But shout out to y'all for tapping in. I hope y'all like that intro because next week is a very prominent day in Atlanta hockey history. And if you in the ATL like me, or even if you're not right now, tune in and listen because it's an exciting day and you will hear about it in hockey news. I hope y'all like the drip that I got on today, man. Y'all already know I'm going to put my city on. This is a throwback. Let me make sure y'all see the tee. This is the 2000 opening night tee against my Stanley Cup pick, actually. I'll talk about that a little bit more when we get closer to the Cup. But I think y'all knew that if you follow me on TikTok or maybe even Instagram too when I've talked about it. But hope y'all liking the tea. Next week's a very prominent day in Atlanta hockey history because next week is the Atlanta Gladiators Thrashers Nights. It is the second one. They've done other Thrashers themed events. They've done Thrashers Heritage Night, but this is the second themed Thrashers Night. The first one happened at the end of 2022. Great attendance, great turnout. And that was a big barometer of Atlanta kind of kicking the door down and entering the things like NHL expansion discussions and everything. I really hope the light flickering on this camera is not actually going to show up on camera. So let me turn it up to... It should, and I doubt that it was. I was looking at it super hard, but yeah, like as I was saying, like next week's Thrashers Night, I'm very excited. When I tell you I'm so excited, I mean I can't even tell y'all. There will be a tailgate before the game. I'm gonna do my best to talk to some people. I've got some other stuff I gotta announce in this podcast. This is a banger episode. This is a banger episode. Y'all boys better tap in. I'm gonna take this clip and put it on TikTok and Instagram and all that, boys. Y'all better tap into this episode. But every episode of the Live from Blueland podcast will be a banger. Y'all have no idea some of the stuff that I have in store. Nonetheless, next week is Thrashers Night. The first one happened in 2022, and since we've been at the forefront of expansion discussions, you can only imagine what will happen in this second one. So I really want everybody to turn out and make sure y'all get that Blueland Erris pass. I'm trying to put you on and get you in the building for the low a deal on behalf of me and the Gladiators, who I've partnered with by way of Fevo Enterprise. Let's get it. So I'm very excited about that. And then when it comes to I guess just the Thrashers and the excitement that people have about hockey right down here, that never really died, but the heightening, maybe even the reignition of hockey passion down here with the gathering at Forsyth, kind of getting underway and being approved and things like that, and people know what's coming. And I'm getting support from all around the country, so I don't want to make it seem like everybody's villainizing us. But last week I touched on something in my first podcast episode that needed to be said, and this is how I feel. And no one's going to sway my opinion or how I feel, because it's just how I feel. And I was being honest when I said this. The game originates from Canada. And as I said last week, there is a level of respect that you have to have when you're talking about hockey in Canada, the nation that birthed the game. But I said, you can have a level of respect and not take disrespect, not accept disrespect. With that being said, last week, I tried to be respectful. There is a hair on my mic. My dog's hair. Last week, I tried to be respectful to our Canadian brethren up north. But my respect and patience is beginning to thin out very quickly, and I consider lying a form of disrespect, especially from people who probably have not even flown south of maybe New York, much less into my city. I grew up here. I'm not going to let anybody lie on where I'm from as if they know anything about Atlanta, much less being pro sports markets. I'm hearing it from people who don't even have a badminton tournament come to their city. And that's not me being rude or being a jerk. That's me being real. So, and this isn't all my Canadian viewers. I want to reiterate that. I get comments from Winnipeg. A lot of Winnipeg fans are very cordial towards Atlanta. They are like, y'all, even though we got y'all's team and we deserve the Jets back, y'all were done wrong. I feel like Jets fans recognize it probably more than any. Maybe I'm wrong. Blueland, help me out. In the YouTube comments, wherever you're seeing this or hearing this, hit me up. Tell me if I'm wrong, but I feel like the Jets fans are the most cordial towards the Atlanta hockey fans down here. I hear it from people in Edmonton and Calgary and other places that have shown love for my city. So I do want to state that. So it is not everyone, and they support a return to Atlanta via expansion. They understand the ownership struggles. They feel like the city was wrong. There's a number of Canadians and just Northerners in general, Minnesota, up in New York and even Boston. Like there are people there that share that same thing. But the skeptics who would rather resort to lies and disrespect towards my city and towards the fans here, some people on behalf of Atlanta hockey may not say nothing back to y'all, But when it comes to me, you being disrespectful towards the city of Atlanta and the hockey passion down here, if you think I'm not going to say nothing back to you, boy, you got me messed up down, left, and right. I'm going to just go ahead and get that clear. And you should already know that from the tone of my voice and the way I carry myself in my video. I'm not going to let you slide with that. When people scoff at Atlanta, if you ever notice, it always tends to be a lie. It always is some type of fabricated information. Oh, y'all were last in attendance every year. Never. Never. That's why I told you when it was an attendance issue. If it was an attendance issue, Atlanta wouldn't have gone first in relocation. I even put images on the screen in my video so that I ain't gonna let you slide with a lie. You gotta look it in the face and see that you was lying and look stupid on the internet. You know, it's always a fabricated lie. Atlanta's a terrible sports market. The Braves are top 5 in attendance. Atlanta United is first in attendance. The Hawks suck. And the Hawks, by percentage, in what is a small capacity arena compared to other NBA arenas, I believe are still top 10. The Falcons are the worst out of all of them. And still are top half in NFL attendance. With all them teams behind them. I think they were 14. I think they finished 14th last year. They were in there with a crowd of teams. But, you know, I ain't no Falcons fan. I'm a Raven. But, I do root for the Falcons. And I hope they end their suffering. I do root for the end of their suffering, basically. But you notice when people have something to say about Atlanta hockey fandom, you always notice it's a fabricated lie. When I speak, it's facts. When I said that you need 8 Quebec cities to equal 1 Atlanta, that's not a lie. I'm going off metro population. When I said you need over 10 Halifaxes to still be 2 million shy of Atlanta's metro population, that wasn't a lie. And if you're offended by the truth, that's a you problem. I didn't choose to live in a city with 12 people. So I'm not going to stand for no lies because that's a form of disrespect to me, and I'm not going for that. So I want to make that very clear. It is not all the Canadians and all the Northern fans. But to the ones that it is, I'm not going to let you slide. I make entire videos. And y'all glaze over the fact, oh, why would they go there for the 3rd time? Fool, you commenting that on a video I just made for 2 minutes explaining to you why Atlanta will be a great hockey market, illustrating the hockey fans that are down here, the passion, why Atlanta was done wrong, and then you still asking me an idiotic question in the comments. Are attention spans that cooked? Come on now, y'all. Are attention spans that cooked? Let me know. To me, it's completely unacceptable. What y'all need to understand is that the NHL is a business, not a soup kitchen. Again, there's a level of respect you have to have when it comes to the game of hockey. There are 7 Canadian teams. I even would like it to be 8. Put one back in Quebec City. 7's not the most awkward number, but 7 can be an awkward number. Put 8 up there. But the idea that the game should be in Halifax, the game absolutely should be in Halifax. But the idea that the NHL should be picking Halifax, Saskatoon, Hamilton, very small regions, and I think y'all know that, over markets like Houston and a very screwed over Atlanta. There is no way in y'all's minds y'all believe that. I hear complaints from hockey fans all the time about growing the freaking game, but hockey fans would rather the game be played in front of 5 people on a frozen pond in a barn than played in front of a major metropolitan area that hosts all the other major sports and where hockey would be the new crown jewel in that specific city, but they don't care about that. I said on my Instagram story the other day, I'll reiterate this on the podcast. You'll notice that basketball fans, they never make the argument for Louisville, Kentucky, a place that arguably has, hang on a second. Basketball fans, which the NBA will go on expansion very soon. You notice NBA fans, when it's time to talk about expansion, they never make the case for Louisville, Kentucky that often, though some do. But they never make the case over Seattle and Vegas for them getting the next team. Louisville, Kentucky has arguably the richest basketball history in this country. And basketball fans don't argue for Louisville, Kentucky over Vegas, over Seattle. You notice football fans, if the NFL ever were to expand or maybe even just relocate, football fans never argue for Oklahoma City over a lot of the markets that the NFL could go to, and they can still go to Austin or Portland, Virginia Beach. Like, there's an assortment. Go back to St. Louis. You never notice NFL fans do that. And Oklahoma produces some of the most prominent players on the gridiron. But hockey fans would rather the game be played in front of a market that would only have an arena, could only afford an arena of 8 to 10,000 people, then put it somewhere where it could flourish. And you know that the fans, specifically here in Atlanta, were done wrong by ownership, not by being unpassionate. A lack of team success in the middle of a recession, but you don't care about that. You hate relocation until it's time to screw over Atlanta. I want y'all to see these people who call themselves hockey fans. They are not hockey fans. They're people that are cool with other cities getting screwed over as long as it benefits them. And even worse, these are people trying to run your sport into the ground and then will be mad that the NHL isn't as prominent as the NBA, isn't as prominent as the MLB. And I'm going to tell y'all straight up, I'm over that. I am trying to be respectful. I'm trying to be cordial because I love Canadian hockey, but y'all not going to keep slighting my city. It be videos where I'm not even talking about Atlanta and y'all coming out the woodwork to try to disrespect my city. I'm not going to let you slide, and I want to be very clear with that. The NHL is a business, not a soup kitchen. At the end of the day, you got to have an ownership group that wants to bring it there. The NHL isn't seeking out expansion. Even Bettman said that. But when somebody comes in with a good deal, they're going to look at it, and if they want to jump on it, they're going to jump on it. But you got to have ownership to do that. It's not just the cities doing that. It's easy to say, oh, well, Milwaukee deserves a team more. Obviously, that's in Wisconsin, not Canada. But, oh, Halifax deserves it more. Then get an ownership group and come compete with Atlanta. Then we wouldn't have a chance. But Atlanta's got a passionate ownership group that is trying to ignite hockey down here and flourish. You mad for some reason, and you don't even lose your team. If you in Toronto or Vancouver and you up north and you talking about Atlanta don't deserve a team, you don't even lose your team if we get one. But you cool with a city getting screwed over and them never coming back here. But that's our fault. I've illustrated multiple times that it wasn't on the fan base down here. But you don't care about that. So I'm not going to care when the NHL expands back here and doesn't listen to y'all. And I want y'all to see some of these hockey fans. They are not hockey fans. They're trying to run your sport into the ground. And the last thing the NHL needs, as passionate as hockey can be in Canada, this is a business. And the NHL does not need another city that the average person can't point to on a map. I'm trying to be cordial and respectful with y'all. My patience is running out. My mouth getting dry. I might need an Aquafina sponsorship. Aquafina, y'all not watching this, but the day that y'all do watch this, because y'all probably will see it when I, grow even more prominent. Let's get something together. If not, I will be switching to Dasani and assortment of other water brands. Maybe not Dasani, but I'll drink Fiji on camera maybe. Let's get back into the rest of the show. I'm excited about next week, and there will be more discussion about that. The common theme of today's other subjects, and the common theme, I guess, of the whole show, really, is goals. Goals, goals, goals. The name of the game, really? But that's like the overarching theme of this episode, and I really want to drive that home. Stadium Series recap. When I finished my episode last week, I talked about the Stadium Series was a big thing going on in the weekend last week. When I recorded it, since they've taken place. I got my notes and everything here, but I do remember what was going on in the game. The first one was the Devs and the Flyers. That was the night of when I ended up not uploading my podcast on Saturday because of some of the logistics. Sorry, beginner, working out the kinks. But the Devils and the Flyers, it was a 6-3 game with the Devs topping the Flyers. Nico Hischier led the way. He had 3 points in that game. He had 2 goals, 1 dime. Owen Tippett had 10 freaking shots on goal in here. He was just a turret. He was just a machine gun for real because he was just a machine gun for real because, he was just letting it fly. He had 2 goals out of that 10, but it just wasn't enough for the Flyers to overcome them. And not to slight the Devils and the Flyers game, but the main event of the Stadium Series was the Battle of New York. Let's be real. That was a thriller, an OT thriller, with the Rangers topping the Islanders 6-5. This was a lot. This dominated headlines last weekend. And even like a trickle down effect, like an aftermath effect of people still talking about this game. Many people think it was the best game of the regular season. There was some really good games this week. I was watching the Bruins and the Oilers. what was that on Wednesday night or Thursday night up in Edmonton? That was a really, really good game. I love that too. Who scored the winner? I think Charlie McAvoy scored the winner, and boy, he had them in a slip and slide. That was a good game too. But let's get back to the Stadium Series. The Rangers won at 6-5 in OT. Panarin scoring off of Noah Dobson. Excellent season, all-star. But what was a stupid turnover by Noah Dobson? I mean, boy, I'm talking about cookies. I'm talking about garage sale giveaway. That was, oh my goodness. Buy one, get one free, boy. Because that was a sale for real. For Panarin to go ahead and put that in the net to finish it off in OT. Dobson knocked the net off. I'm sure you've seen it. And Panarin, but, he knocked it off and Panarin had already shot. Islanders fans found it controversial. Rangers fans obviously didn't give a damn. It was a mostly Rangers fan crowd. We know the Rangers dominate fandom in New York. Islanders fans feel some type of way. It's a battle in New York, dude. Tensions run high. The Islanders were up 4-1 in this game, though. I don't feel bad if you think this was a controversial finish. Y'all were up 4-1 at one point, and you lost 6-5. So maybe not only give up a 4-1 lead when you had all the momentum, but in addition to that, maybe Noah Dobson don't try to sauce a puck across your net with one of the best players skating on the face of the earth at this moment, like 5 centimeters away from you. Like, it was just bad. Like, it's a deserved loss. And I mess with the Islanders fans. Shout out to UBS Arena. Y'all get the All-Star game in 2026 or 2025, whenever y'all get the next one, I'm pretty sure, though. Shout out to UBS Arena, the gathering at Forsyth, the Atlanta future ownership group, it looks like, and the arena developers took a trip up to the island to go to UBS Arena to, it was kind of a little bit of their inspiration to get a scope of how to run an arena. So y'all helping us, y'all educating us on bringing a team back to the ATL. That was actually pretty recent that they went up there to check that out. So, I mess with the Islanders, but yeah, I mean, it was a deserved loss to me. Is it Matt Rempe or Matt Remp? I'm sorry, he knew. That boy a dog. That boy is a dog. I should have figured out how to pronounce his name. I think it's Rempe. I don't think it's Remp, because I heard his name. But that boy is a dog. He is a fee-fi-fo from Giant. He had a fight in his first game in the Stadium Series against Matt Martin. He ain't fight no scrub. All right, that boy tough. Y'all better recognize when it come to Matt Rempe. And if I'm butchering his name, they gonna be all over me on TikTok. So we already know next year's Stadium Series game. This was a thriller. I love the Stadium Series games. Next year's game is going to be at Ohio Stadium. That's going to be the Blue Jackets against the Red Wings. Detroit, I'm going to already tell y'all in advance, y'all need to go win that game. I don't give a damn who the Jackets got on their team. Y'all need to go win that game. Keep it on the common theme of goals. High-scoring games this week, dude. I'm talking about, this was, to me, y'all know I'm a goalie. I don't love high-scoring games. I'm not trying to see that, bro. I'm trying to see some saves. I like a nice 3-3 game, a 3-2 game, or if it's high scoring, I like a lot of shots on goal. I love a lot of shots on goal, because then I can, y'all get y'all's goals, and then I get to see the saves showcase. I'm up here pointing in the camera super harsh, like this is a 3D movie. I'm sorry, but okay. So we had 2 games this week that finished 9-2. And that was like after I finished recording. That was actually last week on Saturday. So really, I guess not this week, but since I last recorded, there was 2 9-2 games just last Saturday alone. And it was the Panthers over the Bolts. And it was the Leafs over the Ducks. The Panthers, no little brother syndrome anymore with the Lightning. They was, this when the little sibling strikes back. Okay. They had some frustration to take out in the Battle of Florida. It wasn't much of a battle. Because the Panthers beat them down and then tied them to the back of their car and then drove for miles. I don't know where the Lightning was. It was clear skies that day in Sunrise. I don't remember if it was in Sunrise. I think it might have even been in Tampa, but it was clear skies in Florida nonetheless. And then and the Lightning are beginning to struggle a little bit. And this might have beat the winning ways out of them, because they were 8-2-0 in their last 10 prior to that, and then this has gotten the ball rolling, and now they've lost 3 in a row. So they've had to play some good competition, but I feel like they should have gone and got that game against the Capitals the other day. Capitals aren't that much worse than them, and they're trying to put together a run to the postseason too. But you want to go get that once. The Lightning got to get back to their winning ways, and I feel like, and that kind of started the snowball a little bit of them kind of going back to being a little bit streaky. So, and then in the Leafs game being 9-2, I talked about Austin Matthews' hat trick last week on the podcast. The minute I finished recording that, another hat trick, y'all, he's done it again. He is filling the net up. I'm telling you, it don't make no sense. Is he going to go for 70? Bro is going for 70. I want y'all to understand how crazy that is. 75, maybe even. Austin Matthews. It really doesn't even make sense at this point. I don't even know what to do about this man. This is he's going to finish as one of the greatest goal scorers of all time, and I'm not debating. And again, like I told y'all, it may seem far-fetched, but in 12 years, I want to have the conversation. In 10 years, maybe even a little less at this rate, I want to have the conversation. Because he's going to be, if Ovi beats Gretzky, we're going to have to look to Austin Matthews because he's going to be next. It's unorthodox how he is scoring at this clip. At the time of me recording this, he has 52 goals in 55 games on the season. Y'all, he going for it. It's unreal. And then the other high-scoring game this week, which, oh my goodness, this rivaled the NBA All-Star game, where the Eastern Conference scored 211 points. Well, clearly the Wild were trying to outdo that. A 10-7 game between the Wild and the Canucks, which was basically the Vancouver Grizzlies versus the Minnesota Timberwolves. Because, I mean, this game, there was no reason for all this scoring. The Canucks actually led 5-3 in this game, if you saw it, which I'm sure you freaking did. And I was going into the third, and then goal. I mean, I'm talking about the Wild had 7 goals in this period alone, 5 unanswered in the third. There were 3 hat tricks in this game. I'm talking about people who was just straight skating and filling up the net. Eriksson Ek was one of them. Kirill the Thrill was the second one, and JT Miller was the lone one for the Canucks. Don't love this game as a goalie. Did not love this game as a goalie. I didn't watch it, but when I saw the highlights, there was a point where I was like, at 5-3, I've already seen enough, but this, okay. We got to continue the trend when it comes to the common theme of this show being goals. Because, baby, we had a goal of the year candidate this week. Quinton Byfield. I'm talking to you, bruh. You playing, right? You playing for real, right? I know you didn't just do that. I was talking about the Columbus Blue Jackets earlier. This is a terrible place to put my water in terms of placement. Let me just put it in front of me. But I was talking about the Columbus Blue Jackets earlier and how they get the Stadium Series next year. But the Columbus Blue Jackets are coming up again because they had a goal scored on them this week that was just, oh my goodness. Let me tell y'all. Although you seen it, you saw it. I think it got posted on Bleacher Report, ESPN, all of that. You saw it. If you didn't see it, you better go look for it because I can't repost that. I don't have the express written consent of the NHL, but I do have the passion to talk about this. Shout out my QB, bro. Shout out to the Q. He went crazy on the Jackets. That was one of the goal of the year candidates. I'm talking about streaking down the ice, nutmegged him, puck-megged him, between the legs, lost his stick, got it back, kicked it to himself. I said, Q, that's nasty. That's a felony charge. I said, you play for the Kings, but you really a jester because you joking with them. You playing with them. It's jokes. I'm telling y'all better go watch that clip if you haven't seen it. Shout out to Quinton because he's really coming into his own right now. I'm very excited. And to do this during Black History Month, I'm glad he went to the Kings because you one of them. You a king. Shout out to the Q. I mean, what a goal. Bro, that got me lit. I was in the house jumping around when he did that. That got me lit. So that was that. Let's transition to another goal. I'm telling you, the common thing is goals, plural. This is a man who had many of them throughout his career. To say many of them is almost an understatement. Actually, third all time in goals. And when it comes to goals, if you play hockey and if you're a young cat and you aspiring to go to the NHL, maybe you listen to this, you play in the minor leagues or something, you aspire to make it to the big show. The goal is to have a career like this man did. And like this man is still having. I can't even say did because he's never going to stop playing. On Sunday night, the night that I uploaded this podcast, we saw a jersey retirement up in the Steel City, up in Pittsburgh, for a man that very much deserves it, and a man that many people would put on the Mount Rushmore of hockey, and they would not be wrong to do so. I love this man. What a testament to pro sports. What an icon. I don't want to say just in the game of hockey. I want to say an icon in pro sports. Jaromir Jagr. Absolutely phenomenal. You know his resume, but I want y'all to feel the weight. I want y'all to feel the impact of what this man did in his NHL career alone. 1,921 career points. Second all time only to one man, and you know who that is. The great one. 766 goals all time. That's third all time, as I said. 1,155 assists, top 5 all time. He's in 5th place. A 2-time Stanley Cup champion, 5-time Art Ross winner, 13-time All-Star, a former Hart Trophy winner. Jaromir Jagr played in the NHL until 2018. He had a number of different tenures here and there, but he was most remembered for what he did in Pittsburgh. He played in the NHL all the way up until the age of 46. In pro sports, I don't even remember when Tom Brady went out the NFL or what age, but I mean, it's almost unheard of, like in major pro sports. I mean, so long, like at the age of 46. He's 52 now and is still playing in the Czech Extraliga. He's still playing today. An icon. Hockey Mount Rushmore. Many people have him on it. They wouldn't be wrong to do so. An absolute icon when it comes to this sport. He had his number 68, obviously retired by the Penguins, in an awesome ceremony. Incredible speech. World class. Absolute excellence on the behalf of the Pittsburgh Penguins organization. Excellence on the career of Jaromir Jagr, but that went without saying for real. His game speaks for itself. His accolades, his resume speaks for itself. The guys came out with the wig flows and everything. That was so epic. This was one of my favorite jersey retirements. I said this was one of my favorite jersey retirements in history. I was talking to my boys. I said, bro, that's one of my favorite jersey retirements in history. Do you understand me? And the goal is to have a career, even a monochrome of the level of what Jaromir Jagr has had in the NHL and is still having today professionally. Absolutely phenomenal. So I want to now transition. We're getting in towards the end of the show. I want to talk about one more time what Thrashers Night next week means to me. And really, I wrote notes for myself on this podcast and everything, and I probably always will do that. But I want to freestyle this a little bit. So I also want to preface this by saying I got a big announcement coming up. I was waiting to say this. So on Monday, I'm going to be a guest on the Atlanta Gladiators podcast. I'm very excited about that, to be a guest on the podcast. I've been a guest on other podcasts for other reasons, but in terms of hockey podcasts, this is a big deal for me. This is an organization that I've been watching and following since I was a child. I'm very involved in the hockey community. Ooh, pretty sure I put that on freaking silent, but okay. But I'm very involved in the hockey community down here. So this is a big deal for me. Like, I'm excited to be a part of the podcast on Monday. I'm not sure if it's going to drop on Monday. We'll get into more of the logistics there, so we'll talk more about that. But I'm going to be guest on the Atlanta Gladiators podcast. But I'm going to be very involved with the Atlanta Gladiators like I've been recently. Because we got a big date coming up next week, as I keep telling y'all, but I'm not done telling y'all until the event happens. And even after that, we got more in the aftermath of what's going to go on there. And then I'm going on vacation. I'm going to Universal. Me and my homies going to Universal, so there will be a little bit of a break in content. I might post a little something out there that was like prior recorded, but I'm going on vacation after Thrashers Night. I'm going almost right to Universal, trying to get on these roller coasters. So if y'all want a little bit of Universal content, let me know. But I want to talk about Thrashers Night briefly one more time, and I'm going to talk really more on TikTok, so I'm going to save some of this for TikTok. But I don't think like if you don't live in Atlanta and you don't, or maybe if you don't love hockey, because I know a lot of people in Atlanta, there's a number of people in Atlanta who don't watch hockey religiously but are excited about the return of hockey to Atlanta. Be excited. And if you don't get the full scope in Atlanta, let me just tell y'all, the passion down here, do not let these people fool you. The passion runs deep. This is a sports city. This is a city with the NFL, the MLB, the NBA, the MLS, the WNBA. The Dream do excellent here. We have a women's volleyball team that does excellent. A pro lacrosse team. Shout out to the Georgia Swarm. This is a pro sports city. And not even just pro sports. I know y'all call it the college football mecca, so I get it. We've hosted the Olympics. We've hosted an assortment of different events. This is a pro sports city. Hockey belongs here. And if you think it can work in Raleigh and it can work in Nashville and Tampa, and it's picking up momentum in Sunrise, if it works in Dallas, if you really don't think it works in Atlanta and you haven't tapped into the ownership struggles and how this city was screwed over and you just willingly don't care, then that's on you. But I promise you next Saturday, we're going to show y'all something. And I want you to look at it and don't avert your gaze because y'all have done enough talking. Next week, we're going to do the talking. And we're going to show y'all in a packed, sold-out building. I want you to see the passion of Blueland. And I want you to see not only what it was in the past and that it never died. I want you to get a glimpse in the future so that there is no mistake. You will see this in the headlines. I'm telling you. So if you're upset right now, you better mute the keywords Atlanta and Thrashers and all of that from your social medias because you're going to see us make noise. And I want you to see it because y'all talked long enough. People telling me there's no hockey fans in Atlanta. You about to have a day in hell because I'm about to wear you out. We're about to wear you out. Blueland is back. Y'all don't see this team? Thrash is back. The T-Birds are back. Them birds, they flying back south. And I want y'all to see it. It means a lot to me because I know there's people down here who have felt that not enough people have spoken about hockey down here and how this city was wrong. Shout out to NHL Atlanta. Shout out, John Buccigross has done his part. Kevin Weeks, Biz has done his part. The great one, Wayne Gretzky, has done his part. There's been an assortment of people. I can't name everybody. I think Urinating Tree was like, if y'all get a great ownership group, I understand it. There's a lot of people who have said it was not the fan support. It was the ownership and we were screwed over. And I appreciate y'all for that. But I know a lot of people ran with a narrative. Well, we about to cut the legs from underneath you so you ain't got no more running to do. You've run far enough. You're not going to be able to run from this. We're going to show y'all next week. I'm very excited. I'm very excited to see multiple people I probably haven't seen in years. Reconnect with them. I got a lot of homies that's popping out to go to this. This is a packed building. Let me tell you something. You're going to have FOMO. You better not miss this. Shameless plug, but you better tap in with Erris' Blueland Pass. I hope they not sold out at the time that you see this. I'm still trying to hook you up, but it means a lot to me. So I'm excited about Thrashers Night next week. Next week, I'm going to release the podcast before I go over to Gas South Arena. So I'm not done talking about this, and I got a lot of posts. My post this entire week will be about Thrashers Night pretty much because that's that's at the forefront of my mind. And shout out to the Gladiators because Atlanta, that's your hockey team. You hold them up. They've reignited hockey passion even more in this city. And y'all know what's coming. There is a missing puzzle piece in the sports landscape in this city. And it is inevitable. And everybody knows it, even the people pissed off. You notice they not pissed off about Omaha because they don't think Omaha has a chance, but they pissed off about Atlanta. Why you not pissed off? Or why you trying to talk yourself into thinking that we don't have a chance? Okay. No hockey fans in Atlanta? We're going to show y'all next week. And I'm going to be unbearable because y'all were unbearable and inexcusable and treated this city unfairly. So I'm not going to be fair towards y'all next week. Oh, Blueland is back. You're going to be disgusted. And I'm going to be euphoric. This is the last episode of Black History Month as well. And I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the podcast by saying this. As you see, I don't look like 90% of hockey fans, and I've been very adamant about that. I've talked about it on my BHM with Blueland Erris series, Grow the Game, and I need more episodes about that. I'm sorry I didn't do as many episodes, but Black History Month is every year. There'll be more next year. That'll be a yearly thing with me. If you think it's too political, shut up. I don't even know what that means. I hate politics. I don't want to see any of these political ads at the end of the year. I'm not excited about voting, but I will go do my part. So if you think that's political, I don't know what you're talking about, buddy. There's no way you followed a black man that loves hockey and didn't think that I was going to think that was a prominent part of the game. I know a number of family members that I take to hockey games that love the game, but they feel like it's not marketed towards them. Keep in mind, by population density on this continent, Atlanta is the blackest city. And by population density, it is not particularly close. Actually, you know what? I think Memphis is one now. Memphis is one, but Atlanta almost has the most black people. Or does it? Anyway, we towards the top of the list. I think by population density, especially in relation to having 6.2 million people in the metro, this is the blackest city on the continent, but the NHL is not in the blackest city on the continent. And you have the least amount of black viewers. You got to market the game to the community. But I don't look like 95% of black hockey fans, but I had a community around me that never cared about what race that I was and was always accepting to me, was always very cordial to me. My high school hockey coach, he told me before I even started a game, because while I was playing travel, I also played for my high school. He told me, if anybody ever says anything racial towards you or any racist remark, you let me know and we're going to get that dealt with. And that meant so much. He didn't even have to say that. There's been a number of figures when it comes to black hockey history that have gotten us to the point we at, and I know the game will diversify even more. And if you upset about that, go to your Ku Klux Klan rally. I don't give a damn. Because hockey has an untapped market that will take it to the next level in terms of fandom that it has not reached with its viewership. And when you get more fans that look like me, you get more fans, full stop. I want to thank Willie O'Ree for being the first and kicking the door down. Tom McCagney. Shout out to an assortment of players. Jerome McGinley, PK Subban, Wayne Simmons. Let me hit y'all with this rapid fire real quick. Mike Greer, Anson Carter, Evander Kane, Dustin Byfield, Johnny Oduya, Quinton Byfield right now. My boy who coming out in the draft next year, I'm really excited about him. Is it Caden Lindstrom? That boy nice. I think he's playing in an OHL. Caden Lindstrom. I'm hoping he end up being a star. Anthony Duclair, JT Brown, Matt Dumba, Ryan Reeves, George LaRocque. There's too many players to name. There's an assortment of black players to name. Shout out Joel Ward. There's so many names. I'm going to stop right there because I got a lot more that I name, and I know y'all do too if you love the game of hockey. Black History Month means a lot to me, bro, because my people went from, whether you like it or not, my people went from working in the fields to, hell, we got a president. I'm living in a very nice house in Buckhead, Atlanta, Georgia. I mean, I live in the number one city on the continent when it comes to starting black businesses. We came a long way. And when it comes to hockey, we've come a long way, and we got a long way to go. And I'm excited about that. If you black and you love hockey, love the game. And the game will love you back. I promise you that. You got a homeboy in me, and you're going to make many more when it comes to this game. So Black History Month means a lot to me. Everybody who's loved the brief, I needed more episodes, but it was a life-changing month for me. I had a lot of projects that I was working on, even beyond hockey. But if you enjoyed the BHM with Blueland, Erris, Grow the Game series, there will be more of that next year. And I'm always going to talk about black hockey history. I'm a black man who loves hockey. Young black man who loves hockey. But it means a lot to me. And everybody who supports me, if I want to say this to y'all, if there's somebody who looks like me from where I'm at, and there's somebody who looks like me and they love the game of hockey, there's many more, and there will be many more. Accept them. I'm not asking you to make a Disney film and recast people and recast characters in a movie. I'm asking you, look at other people, other minorities in general. But look at the black community. Market the game towards them. Get them interested if you can, because they do love the game. You put hockey in front of some black people, boy, they love the game. But it's got to be marketed towards them more. And the more you see that, we will see more PK Subans. We will see more Kevin Weeks. We will see more Anson Carters. We will see more Kyle Okposos. We will see all of that. An assortment of the people that I've named here today. And that's what Black History Month means to me when it comes to hockey. That was over 30 minutes again. But this is the Live from Blueland podcast, baby. That's episode 2. Episode 3, it's going to be big next week. Who knows what's going to happen in the league? I tell y'all all the time. The league never slows down. The game never stops. But a lot of it is going to be themed to Thrashers night and everything. And then I will put the emphasis back on the following week for episode 4, talking about the trade deadline and then the road to the cup and everything, because we'll be in March. I may have to record multiple episodes actually in the same spot now that I'm thinking about it, because I'm going to be in Universal if I can upload that episode on that Saturday. I'm trying here, y'all, but I'm going on vacation. I'm trying to get on Velocicoaster. I'm going to Universal, but I'm going to do what I can for y'all. It's your boy, Blueland Erris. Follow me on TikTok. Follow me on Instagram. I'm the only Blueland, ERRIS. Yes, on all these platforms. ATL stand up. My light's about to die. I can see it blinking. It hasn't gone out yet. Hey, man, thank y'all for tuning in to episode 2. I'm going to see y'all next week for episode 3. And most importantly, even before then, go get that Erris Blueland pass and get in the building at Gas South Arena, because I'm going to see y'all at part of Blueland. I'm going to see y'all at Thrashers Night next week. I'm out. I'm going to get something to eat.